Hello everyone, Community Month is ongoing and today we have a video featuring a collaboration with Laurie Poulter. For those of you who are not familiar with the name, well, you have no idea what you're missing out on. Laurie is a very well-respected and well-known player from the UK Netrunner scene. He has done a lot of wonderful things. Just to name a few, he's hosted the BABW series of tournaments, Bring a Brit to Worlds, for 1 year, I believe. And he's also came up with this Laurie Points initiative, tracking good performances at various tournaments across the year, which has incentivized a lot of players to get down and play more Netrunner. Suffice to say, he is a very valuable member of the Netrunner community, and without him there will be a lot fewer community-led events and a lot less interest in the game. So just a wonderful person in general, and I always love his passion towards the game of poker. Well, today we won't be talking about poker. Instead, what happened was I happened to chance upon Slack as Laurie was showing off his deck aptly named 5 Hours. Why is it called so? Well, this is how the deck's agenda suite looks like. So yeah, I did a bit of quick maths, and yeah, as it turns out, 20 times 15 minutes does make 5 hours. That's pretty impressive. I was thoroughly impressed with Laurie, who was able to pull off such complicated multiplications and unit conversions, but has great difficulty counting up to 7 agenda points. Nonetheless, he was looking for an opponent to spar against using his 5 Hours deck, and it looked like an interesting challenge, so I took it up. But of course, I can't play against this deck without an interesting runner of my own. Now, knowing his agenda suite, I could do some really nasty, really cruel things to abuse my leg up in knowledge against his deck, but that's not cool. We are not here to, completely beat down on Laurie. That's not fun, right? We are here to have some fun playing the game. So that's not our objective. We are not looking to, utterly wreck him. What we want to do is to have a very fun, very dynamic game. So I had to come up with some really innovative runner deck. And well, after quite a bit of thought, I found this, or rather I came up with this runner deck which I named Gotta Go Fast. Why is it named so? Well, it seems like Laurie has 5 hours to spare. My runner certainly doesn't. And you'll see why this is the case when we get into the game. Just to note, this is far from your conventional game of standard Netrunner. There are unspoken restrictions in effect, and all you need to do is to sit back, relax, and enjoy this comedy show. It's going to be Netrunner like you have never seen before. Okay, so you might think our opening hand is good because we have 4 copies of Mad Dash, which allows us to go at supersonic speeds. Well, the real reason we are keeping our opening hand is because we open with spoilers. This is a card that is going to spoil Laurie's day because this card will force the court to mill a card from their R&D whenever they score an agenda. And we know our opponent's gonna score lots of agendas. So we are gonna have fun with spoilers. Unfortunately, we guessed wrongly on the remote. Oh well, it's a pack campaign, we don't trash it. Instead, we'll drop so that we are back to 4 Mad Dash in hand. That will allow us to play more Mad Dash in the future turns. But the most important part is we have spoilers down. That is our main mode of multi-access in this deck. As we Mad Dash R&D here to steal a 15 minutes. That's wonderful. So that puts us immediately on the board and we are looking pretty good as our opponent starts razzing a nasty commercial bankers group which will give them enough money to score the remaining copies of 15 minutes for the rest of the game. We can't really have that. Giving our opponent economy is a big problem. And although we don't have enough economy ourselves, I think it's worth it to go trash the bankers. But first we'll Mad Dash into R&D to steal another 15 minutes. Okay, we are halfway towards our victory. Let's dash into the commercial bankers group to trash it. Some of you might be wondering, why are you Mad Dashing into the bankers group? Well, we gotta go fast, of course. You can only go fast when you dash. So we dashed into the bankers group and we thought we good, but no. Our opponent hits us with some hard-hitting news. Oh man, Laurie, you sneaky person. How could you ever play such a tier 1 card? I am much in disappointment. Yeah, that's not good. We are flooded with tags, and tags are bad. We don't like tags. We like going fast, we don't like tags. Unfortunately, our opponent is going to show us the bad news. It's worse than Boom, it's worse than high profile target. Laurie is going to trash our spoilers! No! We paid so much Anarch influence for it, and now it's in the bin. What a pity. This is a huge travesty. And what can we do? We only have a single breaker out in Abagnale. We are going to try our best to mad dash into R&D, and we see Nasex. That's not what we want to see, as we take another meat damage. Things are not looking good for our hero in blue, as we are dashing towards our loss, going from 4 to 2 agenda points as our opponent reclaims the 15 minutes back into the deck. The score now is 2-1 as we mad dash into R&D again. Our opponent shows us high profile target on R&D. Well, with 1 click left, I guess we are not winning this game. Well, so long and thanks for all the games, Laurie, as we are resigned to our death, except that we don't die. Very curious, our opponent didn't fire the high profile target. I asked Laurie about it. Why am I still alive? Why is this hedgehog still running rampant on our opponent's R&D? As it turns out, as you are gonna see in the chat box very soon, it's lagging a bit, but Laurie says he's only allowed to play high profile target for tempo, value meat damage, you know, like how you play Scorched Earth back in the day, just so that you can blink 4 cards from your opponent's hand and make them waste 4 clicks drawing back up. That's exactly how Laurie's playing his high profile target. That's such a tier 1 play. No, it's not even tier 1. It's better than that. It's a tier 0 play. Unfortunately, he won't get to fire his high profile target for value meat damage because I cleared all my tags like a good little boy. Right, so now we are tagless. Now we've drawn back up to 4 cards, but in the meantime, we've given Laurie the window of opportunity to score a bunch of 15 minutes. That score area is starting to get very clogged up. Getting up to that 5 hours there, I see, Laurie. Well, not gonna let you have that, as Laurie installed a new card with team sponsorship. We mad dash it, only to find a news team. What the heck? What? This is just rude. This is so rude. I thought Laurie would install a 15 minutes that was milled with spoilers into the bin. But instead, it gives me -1 agenda points. This is cruel. As if I'm not losing the game enough. I'm forced to take another -1 agenda point. Apologies for the choppy video here. Somehow my laptop is, not running as well as it used to, so recent videos have been rather choppy. I do apologize for that, but don't worry, you're not missing out much as our opponent scores yet another 15 minutes from hand. 2-1 agendas, so OP. By scoring this agenda, our opponent once again triggers the team sponsorship, and they once again install an unseen card from the bin. Of course, I'm trained not to run it because I just hit the news team that I ran exactly last turn, so yeah. Figuring that I wouldn't run this again, Laurie actually installed a 15 minutes into the remote from archives. But this time I ran it, I was playing super aggressive and I caught Laurie off guard. I found his 15 minutes, so that was a very glorious moment for me here. As I continue my mad dashing, I mad dash here into R&D. Let's see if we can find anything off the top, as our opponent reses a Data Raven on us on the last click. This is super annoying. Data Raven, really? I can't afford to run through Data Raven here because obviously our opponent will tag us and they'll be able to play high profile target for value, but more importantly, they will be able to trash our spoilers. We can't have that. Spoilers is our main win condition as it allows us to essentially multi-access from archives. So we couldn't afford to take the tags, we took the 1 meat damage instead, as our opponent scores the 6th agenda. They are 1 agenda away from winning, so now it's time to pull out all the stops. We are gonna mad dash everywhere here because it's now or never. We run archives, and we do find a 15 minutes, which we steal. This puts us on an uncountable number of agenda points because the number of cards in our score area are too clumped and cluttered up. We can't really count, but it must be a lot of points. With 1 remaining mad dash and 1 remaining click, we have to decide between R&D and HQ here. It's an unknown ice on HQ, and they've probably scored a bunch of agendas from their hand at this point because, they basically spent the past few turns scoring. So we ran R&D. The end was cut off here, but basically what happened was I whiffed, and Laurie scored out the final agenda point on the next turn. As it turned out, 3 out of 5 cards in the hand were 15 minutes. I should have ran HQ instead of R&D at the end there. Yep, so this is my deck list. For those of you who are still utterly confused at what's going on, I basically built a Ken Tenma deck that was more than 3/4 mad dash, with the caveat that I had to mad dash on every single run. Now, it sounds like a ridiculous stipulation, but not so, considering that 40% of my opponent's cards were agendas, so chances are mad dashes will be relatively successful. And even if they fail, the meat damage just makes it all the more hilarious. The other part of the plan was also that I had to sacrifice every single 15 minutes that I stole using the Shadow Net, and I included 5 copies of Shadow Net in my deck just so that I could reliably find it early, so I could start using it. I mean, it's value because instead of playing a mad dash from your hand, you are playing a mad dash from your bin, which means that you lose 1 less card from your hand, which is 1 less mad dash use, and that's 1 more hit point you have to take mad dash meat damage. As it turned out, I didn't draw a single one of my Shadow Nets throughout the entire game, so Laurie had to do the work for me in putting the 15 minutes out of my score area. My original intention with this deck was to win with 7 mad dashes in my score area, but I quickly realized that would be impossible without some assistance from the court, because after your 6th mad dash will fetch you a 15 minutes to go along in your score area, and you would win the game before having 7 mad dashes in your score area. I nearly did that with Laurie donating me a news team, but it wasn't meant to be in the end. So yeah, that's the video in general. Big thanks to Laurie for giving me this wonderful idea and having such an entertaining game. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. As I said at the start of this video, Laurie has done some amazing work in cultivating and growing the Netrunner community in the UK. His enthusiasm and passion was the driving force behind many of the community-led events that I've been to in the past. And I think this is something that is all the more relevant in today's context, with the game losing its official support. Well, we'll see if there's anyone out there willing to go the distance to foster a stronger Netrunner community. In the meantime, as always, hope you're enjoying Community Month. Thanks for watching, happy netrunning, goodbye.